Hello, how are you? I'm a little tired. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today it is on May 27th, 2024. It's on Monday and cloudy or rainy. How are you spending Monday? Have you already finished working or studying? Or have you got a day off today? What day do you like the most? What day do you hate the most? I think many people don't like the Monday. I think many people hate the Monday the worst because most of them work or school starts from Monday and they have to wait for 5 days until the next day off. Perhaps you might like the Monday the most if you are obsessed with your work, if you are immersed into your work, if you are really into your work. If you are absorbed into your work, if you are absorbed in work, if you are absorbed in your work, if you are absorbed in your work. A cup of coffee helps me to keep attention to the lecture. A cup of coffee helps me to pay attention to the lecture. A cup of coffee helps me to give attention to the lecture. Yeah. Pay attention to the lecture. Give attention to the lecture. Pay attention to the lecture. Give attention to the lecture. Whenever you drive your car, please give attention to the driving. Give attention to the driving. Pay attention to the driving. Whenever you drive your car, please give attention to your driving carefully. A cup of coffee helps me to pay attention to the lecture. A cup of coffee helps me to give attention to the lecture. A cup of coffee helps me to give attention to the lecture. A cup of coffee helps me to give attention to the lecture. A cup of coffee helps me to give attention to study. A cup of coffee helps me to give attention to lecture. A cup of coffee helps me to give attention to lecture. A cup of coffee helps me to give attention to lecture. A cup of coffee helps me to give attention to study. A cup of coffee helps me to give attention to lecture. A cup of coffee helps to give attention to my study. A cup of coffee helps me to give attention to lecture. A cup of coffee helps me to give attention to study. A cup of coffee helps me to give attention to study. A cup of coffee helps me to give attention to lecture. Give attention to study. Give attention to study. Give attention to learning. Give attention to what the teacher is saying. Give attention. I never gave attention to what my parents advised me, which made me what I am now. I think those being successful in their life currently may be stemmed from ignoring old advice from their parents, maybe. I think those successful in their life in current era maybe derives from not giving attention to obsolete advice from teachers or parents. That's why they are succeeding in their business. Give attention to your study. Give attention to driving. 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 How soon can you put an end to the essay? I was asked how soon I could put an end to the report. I was asked how soon I could put an end to my thesis. I was asked how soon I could put an end to the thesis. I was asked how soon I could put an end to the thesis report. It's better to put an end to the report by Friday. It's better if you can put an end to your assignment by Friday so that we can hang out on Saturday and Sunday. We are trying to put an end to the demands from the customers by Friday. Put an end to the cleaning. Put an end to giving out the pocket tissue to the passers-by. It's not the amount that you can put an end to in a day. It's not the amount that you can put an end to in a day. How are you going to deal with that? It's not the amount that you can put an end to in a day. How are you going to deal with? It's all about that you will be scolded by your teacher by failing to submit the assignments. The assignments is not the amount that you can put an end to in a day. It's all about you will be scolded by your teacher. It's all about impossible to put an end to the assignments in a day. It's as good as impossible to put an end to the assignment in a day. Please have a look at page 6. Please have a look at page 6. Please take a closer look at the math questions and you will understand it because it is designed so that you can understand. Please take a closer look at the math question. Please have a closer look at the math question. Please have a closer look at the math questions. Please have a closer look at the documents. Please have a closer look at the cover. Please take a closer look at the picture. Is there something wrong? Please take a look at the picture. Many hints are hidden in the picture, leading to the answer of the math question. Please have a look at the math questions. Please have a look at the math questions. Please take a look at the math questions. Please have a look at the math questions. Please take a look at the math questions. Please have a look at the math questions. Let's have a look inside before you're deciding whether to rent the room or not. Can I take a look inside before deciding whether or not I should stay in the room? Can I take a look inside before deciding? Sure. Let's take a look inside. Let's have a look inside. Let's have a look inside. Let's take a look inside. Let's take a look. Take a look. Have a look. Have a look. Take a look. Take a look. Have a look. Take a look. Have a look. Take a look at the man with the red hair and dancing so robotically. Have a look at the plane flying in the sky. It's like falling. Please take a look at the plane, flying plane. It seems falling. It seems dropping. Please take a look at the sky. Please have a look at the sky. Please have a look at the sky. Please take a look at the sky. Please take a look at the sky. Please have a look at the sky. Please take a look at the sky. Please take a look at the sky. Please have a look at the sky. Please take a look at the sky. Take a look at the sky. Have a look at the sky. Take a look at the math questions carefully. Have a look at the math questions carefully. In order to avoid making careless and minor mistakes, please have a closer look at the math questions. Read them carefully so as to avoid making minor and careless mistakes. Please have a closer look at the math questions. Read them carefully. I took advantage of the business trip opportunity to go to pay a visit to some places. I would pay a visit to some places by taking advantage of my opportunity of the business trip. I went around the remote island taking advantage of the opportunity. I went around the remote island take advantage of the rental car. Don't take advantage of me only when you are in need. Don't take advantage of me only when you are in need. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm tired of it. I've had enough of it. I've had enough of it. I've had enough of it. I'm fed up with it. I am fed up with it. You should take advantage of the wedding ceremony to perform in front of the people. You should take advantage of the opportunity for wedding ceremony to perform and show your comedy in public. You should take advantage of the wedding ceremony to have the comedy show in front of people. Both bride and groom and participants will be satisfied with the performance, and they will be fun by your comedy show. You should take advantage of the wedding ceremony to show your comedy show in front of the participants and bride and groom. Please take care of your health. I wonder who will be taking care of me when I get older. I wonder who is going to take care of me when I get older. I wonder who will be taking care of me when I get older. I was almost taken care of by my grandparents. I was almost taken care of by my grandparents. I was mostly taken care of by my grandparents. When you leave somebody, what do you say to them? Take care, see you, goodbye, bye, or something else. What do you say to your friends or parents or relatives when you leave them? As a farewell. Take care, or see you, or goodbye, or bye, or bye-bye, or something else. Please take care of my DVD, which is one of my pleasures. I usually never lend my pleasures to anybody, but especially I'm going to lend it to you because you really want it. You really wished for it. So please take care of the DVD. Thank you for taking care of my pet dog while I was away. Thank you for taking care of my pet dog while I was away on the business trip. I appreciate it. I'd rather stay at home and study than take part in the party. I'd rather study at home than take part in the useless party among colleagues. Please send us a direct message or call us in order to take part in the party. How to take part in the party? Please send us a direct message or call us. In an attempt to take part in the party, please either send us a message or call us. I really take pride in being acquainted with you. I really take pride in being a member of the club team. I am really take pride in the graduate of the university. If I had restarted my life again, I couldn't have I couldn't pass the entrance examination again. If I had been forced to restart my life again, I wouldn't be able to pass the entrance examination of the university again. I am really proud of being the graduate of the university. I take pride in being the graduate of the university. I really take pride in being the graduate of the university. I really take pride in being the graduate of the university. I really take pride in being the graduate of the university. I really take pride in being the graduate of the university. I really take pride in being the graduate of the university. I really take pride in being the graduate of the university. I really take pride in being the member of the club team. I really take pride in being the member of the club team. I take pride in being friends with you. I take pride in being a friend with you. Do you take pride in being the son of your parents? Do you take pride in being the daughter of your parents? Do you take pride in being acquainted with me? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you agree to the proposal? Do you agree with me? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being a member of the club team? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Take pride in yourself. Believe in yourself. Put your trust in yourself. I cannot put my trust in a stranger. Neither could I. I couldn't either. I cannot either. Me neither. I really take pride in me getting through many difficulties in the past. I really take pride in myself achieving some of the goals I set in the past. I really take pride in myself achieving some goals I set in the past, although they took many years. I persisted with that. I really take pride in myself being able to persist with my goals I set. I really take pride in myself being able to persist with any goals I set in the past. I really take pride in myself being able to persist with the goals I set. Do you take pride in being a member of the club team? Do you take pride in being the member of the association? I really take pride in being the graduate of the university. I really take pride in being the graduate of the university. I really take pride in being the graduate of the university. I really take pride in being the graduate of the university. I really take pride in being the graduate of the university. I really take pride in being the graduate of the university. I really take pride in being the graduate of the university. I really take pride in being the graduate of the university. I take pride in you taking on anything, even the ones you don't like. I take pride in those who can continue doing something for a long time, like 20 years or 30 years. I take pride in those who can keep long efforts. Do you take pride in those who can study for a long time, like 10 hours a day? Do you take pride in those who can study for a long time in a day? I take pride in those who invented state-of-the-art technologies to make the society more convenient and better. I take pride in the researcher who invented awesome semiconductor in the company. I take pride in those who are contributing to the society. I take pride in those contributing to the society a lot. I take pride in those who invented awesome cutting-edge technologies to make the society more convenient and better. I take pride in myself being able to persist with the goals I set. I take pride in trees standing still there even during typhoon. I take pride in trees standing still there even during typhoons, anytime, every day, all seasons, around the clock, 24/7. Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being the member of the company? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being the member of the company? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being the employee of the company? Please fill in the form and submit it at Windows C. Please fill in the document, and after filling it, please submit it at Windows C. Thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being a graduate of the university? Do you take pride in being the graduate of the high school? Do you take pride in being the graduate of the university? Do you take pride in being the graduate of high school? Do you take pride in being the graduate of high school? Do you take pride in being the graduate of the high school? Do you take pride in being the graduate of high school? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being the employee of the company? Do you be proud of being the employee of the company? Are you proud of being an employee of the company? Are you proud of being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? Do you take pride in being an employee of the company? There's nobody who can take the price of me. Only me can deal with the problems. Only me can operate the machine. Only me can deal with the tasks. Nobody can take the price of me. Only me can deal with the tasks, cope with the tasks. Were it not for water, we could not live. Had it not been for water, we could not have lived. Little had I had money, I could not buy it. Little did I have money, I could not buy it. Little did I have money, I couldn't have it. I couldn't buy it. Little energy did I have, I skipped the class. Only after registering at the prefectural office can you start a business. Only after registering at the prefectural office can you start a business. Only through intensive and persistent effort can you achieve something great. Were you to fall from that bridge, it would be almost impossible to rescue you. Should you meet the person I mentioned yesterday, could you bring this memo to him? Since my senior colleague was absent yesterday, I took the place of him, giving a speech at the meeting. It went well, anyway. Good. Whenever my boss is absent on business trip, I take the place of him. I take over his duties. whenever he goes on a business trip. Whenever he sets out on a business trip. Whenever he sets off on a business trip. Whenever she goes on a business trip. Nobody can take the place of me, because only me can deal with the tasks. Only me can cope with the tasks. Who is going to take the place of you when you are absent? I take the place of my boss whenever he goes on a business trip. Whenever he sets off on a business trip. Whenever he sets out on a business trip. Whenever he sets out on a business trip. Whenever he sets out on a business trip. Whenever he sets off on a business trip. AI will take the place of many of us in the near future. AI will replace many jobs as a new workforce. AI robots will replace us as a new workforce in the near future, or it's already happening. AI and robots will be replacing us as a new workforce in the near future. It can be a threat to many of us, which also will create new jobs. I suppose, I presume. AI will take the place of many of current workers in many industries in the near future. AI will take the place of many of us in the many fields. AI will take the place of many of current employees in the near future in many industries. Maybe the cashier of a supermarket, the train conductor, and so on. Maybe. Probably. Presumably. Perhaps. AIs will take the place of many of current employees in many fields. AI and robots will take the place of many current employees in many fields. AI will take the place of many employees in many industries. AI will take the place of many professions in many fields. AI will be taking the place of many occupations. AIs will be taking the place of many of current employees in many fields. I take the place of my senior colleague whenever he goes on a business trip, whenever she sets out on a business trip, whenever she sets off on a business trip. Earthquakes can set off a tsunami. An earthquake can initiate, cause, arouse, give rise to, set off tsunami. The cardboard box had been taking the place of my desk until the new desk arrived. The cardboard box had been taking the place of the desk until the new one arrived. According to the weather forecast, it will be rainy tomorrow. According to the weather forecast, it will be rainy tomorrow. Do you think laws should be amended according to the era, period? Do you think laws should be amended according to the era? The ferry will be called off according to the weather. The ferry ride will be called off according to the weather. The ferry ride is subject to be cancelled, subject to being cancelled according to the weather. The ferry is subject to being cancelled due to according to the weather. The ferry is subject to being cancelled according to the weather. I set the time for playing the guitar according to my health and left energy. I set the time for practicing the guitar according to my left energy. I set the time for practicing the violin according to my energy left. Many garbage reached the coastline according to the ocean current. Many garbage were flown to the coastline according to the ocean current. Many garbages are being flown to the beach according to the ocean current. The post office used to be located across from the convenience store. Is your grandparents' house located across from your house? I was very envious of one of my classmates whose house located across from the elementary school. He didn't have to commute a long time to get to school, and when he went home too. I was very envious of those. So meaning if he forgot something like homework at home, he could go home to bring it back, get it back, take it back. but my house was located about 1.5 kilometers away from elementary school, so if I forgot something, I couldn't get it back. The last moment when I met my international friend was at the train platform. I was standing at the platform and she was standing across from my platform. The last moment when we met was at the train platform. After we said goodbye to each other, I was standing at the platform and she was standing at the platform across from me. She was standing at the opposite platform from me. And she was standing at the platform, the opposite platform from mine. Please try to get to the airport at least 2 hours ahead of the departure time. I usually try to arrive at the destination 30 minutes ahead of the decided time. I usually attempt to arrive at the destination 30 minutes ahead of the schedule, just in case. I skipped eating lunch at the restaurant because there were many people lining up ahead of us. We gave up waiting in the line in front of the restaurant because there were many people waiting ahead of us. And we only had one time for lunch break, so we gave up. Reasonable. Understandable. Thinking over a pile of homeworks ahead of holidays depressed me. A heap of tasks that should to be coped with before holidays depressed me. A heap of tasks to be dealt with by holidays get me irritated. Drive me irritated. Make me irritated. I could not see the artist at all because there was a very tall person standing ahead of me. There were many problems to be solved ahead of our travel, which depressed me very much. Hooligans used to gather, assembly, ahead of the train station. Hooligans used to flock to the train station. Hooligans used to assembly ahead of the train station in the past, but not now. You need to pass the first stage of the examination ahead of taking the second stage of the speaking test. You need to pass the first paper examinations ahead of the second stage of speaking test. If you fail the first stage, you cannot go on to take the second stage of speaking test. I see. Ahead of September, ahead of August, ahead of July, ahead of June, ahead of May. Please make sure to wash your hands and rinse your mouth ahead of entering the house. Please make sure to dehydrate your hand with the ethanol decontamination spray before ahead of stepping into the facility. Please be sure to wash your hands and rinse your mouth ahead of stepping into the house. Please be certain to take your thermometer, take your temperature, have your temperature taken, and dehydrate your hands with a spray at the entrance before ahead of entering the facility. Please make sure that your temperature is taken and decontaminate your hands with the alcohol decontamination spray at the entrance ahead of entering the facility. Please make certain that your temperature be taken and decontaminate your hands with a spray at the entrance ahead of entering the facility. Please read the manual carefully. Please read the manual. Please read the manual carefully ahead of assembling the furniture, okay? In order to avoid mistakes, in order to avoid getting injured, in order to avoid getting wounded, okay? Please make sure to read the manual carefully. Please make sure to read the instructions carefully. Please make sure to read the directions carefully before assembling, ahead of assembling the furniture, ahead of assembling the furniture, ahead of assembling the furniture. It's no wonder that there were many people lining up ahead of the facility. It was no wonder that there were many people lining up ahead of the restaurant because it was broadcasted on TV last night by the famous YouTuber. The watch is 30 minutes ahead to be on time, to be in time for the delivery. The watch hang on the wall is 30 minutes ahead advanced because the delivery won't be delayed. ahead of the restaurant, ahead of the facility, ahead of the school. I was really envious of the student whose house was located ahead of the elementary school. It's almost arrived already. No time for commuting at all. I was really envious of the student whose house is located ahead of the elementary school. It's almost in the precinct of the elementary school. No time for commuting. Please reach the airport 2 hours ahead of the departure time. Please reach the international airport. 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 Please reach the international airport 2 hours prior to the departure time. 2 hours prior to the departure time. 2 hours prior to the departure time. 2 hours ahead of the departure time. 2 hours ahead of the departure time. There were tons of tasks to be dealt with ahead of the holidays. There are numerous tasks to be dealt with, completed ahead of holidays. Please read the instructions carefully ahead of assembling the furniture. Please read the manual carefully. Please read the manual. Please read. Please read the manual. Please read the manual. Please read manual. Please read the manual. Please read the manual carefully ahead of assembling it. Please read the manual carefully. Please read the manual carefully ahead of using the gadget. There are still many people lining up ahead of us. There are still many people waiting ahead of us, 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 ahead of December, ahead of December, ahead of December, ahead of us December, ahead of getting so cold. Please be prepared to cope with unexpected emergency ahead of it. Let's put an end to the task ahead of dawn. And take everything in. Take everything in the house ahead of sunset. Put an end to the task ahead of sunset. Make sure to check in the hotel ahead of the check-in time. Reach the hotel ahead of check-in time. reach the hotel, reach to the hotel, reach to the hotel, reach to the hotel ahead of check-in time, reach the hotel ahead of the check-in time. There are vending machines all over Japan. There is a convenience store all over Japan. There is a convenience store all over Japan. There is a vending machine all over Japan. There is a free Wi-Fi all over the country. It was not long before social networking service became viral all over the world. It wasn't very long before SNS became viral all over the world. It wasn't very long before social networking service became popular all over the world. The artist is very popular all over the region. After the accident, many gravels were scattered all over the road. All over the road. All over the road. Road. All over the road. All over the road. Many fractions were scattered on the road, all over the road after the car accident. It wasn't very long before social networking service became viral all over the world. Japanese language was heard spoken all over the tourist spot. I heard Japanese language spoken all over the tourist spot. I heard Japanese language spoken all over the region, all over the tourist spot somehow. I heard Japanese language spoken all over the tourist spot somehow. Somehow. I heard Japanese language spoken all over the tourist spot. There are still many problems to be completed, dealt with, coped with ahead of holidays. And there are still many stops we have to stop by, drop in at, stop at, ahead of getting home. Three stations ahead of our destination. 3 stations are left ahead of our destination. Can I participate in the party along with my cousin? Sure. Do you like to eat rice along with okonomiyaki, Japanese style pancake? Do you like to eat rice along with okonomiyaki? Do you like to eat rice along with okonomiyaki? Do you like to eat okonomiyaki along with rice? Do you like to eat okonomiyaki along with rice? Do you like to eat rice along with okonomiyaki? Do you like to eat okonomiyaki along with rice? Do you like to eat rice? Do you like to eat rice along with okonomiyaki? Do you like to eat okonomiyaki along with rice? Do you like to eat okonomiyaki along with rice? Do you like to eat okonomiyaki along with rice? Do you like to eat okonomiyaki along with rice? Do you like to eat okonomiyaki along with rice? Do you like to eat okonomiyaki along with rice? Apart from his terrible handwriting, his essay is well written. Aside from his terrible handwriting, his essay is well written. Aside from his terrible handwriting, his essay is well organized, written. Aside from minor mistake, he left nothing to be desired. His performance left nothing to be desired. Aside from some rainy days, our trip to Okinawa was great. Apart from natto, the tourist ate everything. Aside from natto, the tourist ate everything. Apart from being forced to ride public transportation for a long time, I like sightseeing, I like traveling. Aside from taking a long flight, I like traveling. Apart from long hour flight, I like traveling. I like traveling. I love traveling. I love to travel. I like to travel. Aside from taking a long hour flight, I like traveling. Aside from taking long hour flight, I like traveling. Apart from a long hour flight, I like traveling. Aside from taking a long hour flight, I like traveling. Apart from a long hour flight, I like traveling. Aside from a long hour flight, I like traveling. Apart from a long hour flight, I like traveling. Aside from a long hour night bus, I like traveling. Apart from a long hour flight, I like traveling. Aside from a long hour public transportation, I like traveling. Apart from a long hour moving, I like traveling. Aside from a long hour moving, I like traveling. Apart from humidity and hot weather, I like summer. Aside from the humidity and hot weather, I prefer summer to winter. Apart from the strong humidity and hot weather, I prefer summer to winter. Aside from the terrible humidity and hot weather, I prefer summer to winter. We have still 3 available rooms as of now, but we cannot assure you that we will still have available 3 rooms when you arrive here. As of now, he hasn't arrived 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 here. I know almost nothing about cards. I know nothing about I know nothing as for cards. I know nothing as to cards. Because I don't have the interest in it. Because I am not interested in that. As to cards, I know nothing about it. As for cards, I know nothing about them. As for purchasing a land, I know nothing about it. As for purchasing a land, I know nothing about it. As for property tax, I almost know nothing about it. As for property tax, I hardly know about it. I next know about it. I know almost nothing. I know next to nothing about it. You can go out as long as you have finished your homework by 5 o'clock p.m. You won't make a big mistake as long as you pay attention. As far as I looked around, there was nobody in the park. As far as I looked around, I couldn't see anyone in the park. The spokesperson didn't refer to the delicate problem. The spokesperson did not mention as to the delicate problem. The spokesperson did not talk as for the delicate problem. The spokesperson avoided mentioning as to the problems. The spokesperson avoided talking as for the problems. The flight has been cancelled because of inclement weather. I stayed at home all day long because of raining. But for water we could not live. But for water we could not have lived. But for your advice, I had been into trouble. But for your advice, I would not arrive at home now. But for your advice, I would have been involved in the accident. But for your help, I could not have achieved it on my own, all by myself, all on my own. But for baseball, he would have taken a totally different course of life. But for baseball, the famous baseball player would have taken very different life. But for baseball game in this society, in the world, he would have had a totally different life. But for a baseball in this university, in the universe, he would have had a totally different life. he would have taken a totally different life. But for baseball, he would have taken a totally different life. But for baseball, he would have taken a totally different life. But for baseball, he would have taken a different life. But for the morning set A, I would choose. But for morning set A, I will choose the morning set B. I hope the morning set A still exists there. I hope the morning set A will not be sold out when I arrive there. But for morning set A, I will choose to have morning set B. But I hope the morning set A will not have been sold out when I arrive there. Arrive at the cafe. But for the internet, many of the current jobs would be more difficult to be dealt with, or impossible. But for the internet, the many of current jobs would be very difficult to dealt with, or impossible. But for small goals, a big goal will not be achieved. But for small goals, achieving a big one will not be possible. But for water, we could not live. But for the oxygen, we could not live. But for oxygen, we could not live. But for merit, I have not taken part in the tour. But for margin, nobody will start the business, with some exceptions. But for margins, nobody will start the business, with some exceptions. But for public transportations, moving would be more difficult and inconvenient. But for public transportations, moving would be more difficult But for public transportations, moving would be more difficult and inconvenient. But for public transportations, moving would be more difficult and our life would be more inconvenient. But for music, I wonder how my life would be. But for music, I wonder how the life of the rock band would have been. But for music, I wonder how the life of the band would have been. But for music, I wonder how the life of the rock band would have been. But for music, I sometimes wonder how the life of the rock band would have been. They must have taken a totally different life. They had taken a totally different life. They would have taken a totally different life. But for music, the members of the rock band would have had a totally different life each. But for music, the members of the rock band would have taken a totally different life. But for music, the members of the rock band would have taken a totally different life. Although the amusement park used to be located close to my apartment, I didn't go there. Psychological problems, maybe. When we think we can go or utilize the opportunity anytime, maybe we don't go or utilize it. But we find them very rare. For example, when we live far away from the amusement park, maybe we will go there more frequently to take advantage of the rare opportunity. The speed of the Wi-Fi router reached close to 1K BPS, FPS. The Wi-Fi router. The speed of the Wi-Fi router reached close to 1000 megabps. The Wi-Fi router. The speed of the Wi-Fi router reached close to 1 gigabps. 1 gigabps. The speed of the Wi-Fi router reached close to 1 gigabps. BPS. Although I live close to the amusement park, I haven't been there. Although I live close to the amusement park, I haven't been there. Although I live close to the amusement park, I haven't been there. Contrary to year-on-year cabs, the taxis in London are black, as far as I know. Contrast to a right-side driving seat, many other cars employ left-side driving seat. Contrary to people in Tokyo standing on the left side of the escalator, the people in Osaka stand on the right side of the escalator. The left side is used for taking over in Osaka, and reversely, in contrast, the right side is used for taking over in Tokyo. Contrary to people in Tokyo standing on the left side of the escalator, the people in Osaka stand on the right side of the escalator. Interesting. Contrary to everyone else, I did not hunt for a job after graduating from university. Contrary to everyone else, I usually choose the one that everyone else never choose. Contrary to everyone else, I move opposite side. Contrary to the right side driving seat, many other countries employ left side driving seat. Contrary to right side driving seat of the cars produced in Japan, many other countries adopt left side driving seat. Contrary to left side road used for driving, many other cars employ right side for driving cars. Contrary to left side of the road, which are used for cars to move, many other countries employ right side of the roads for the cars to move. Contrary to left side of the road for the cars to move, many other countries employ right side of the road for the car to move. In contrast to yellow New York cabs, the taxis in London are black. Contrary to my father, his brother is very fashionable. Contrary to my father's brother, my father doesn't care about his outfit at all. Contrary to people in Tokyo, standing on the left side of the escalator. People in Osaka stand on the right side of the escalator. I don't know why. The flight has been cancelled due to the inclement weather. The flight has been cancelled due to the inclement weather. The flight has been cancelled due to the inclement weather. The flight has been cancelled due to the inclement weather. Except for a minor mistake, your performance left nothing to be desired. Except for some rainy days, our trip to Hokkaido was great. Except for a long hour flight, I like traveling. Except long hour moving, I like traveling. Except for sea urchin, I like all feelings of sushi. Except umeboshi or plan, I like all feelings in the onigiri rice ball. Except for plan, I like every other feeling in the onigiri rice ball. Except for umeboshi or plan, I like all other feelings in onigiri rice ball. Except umeboshi, I like all other feelings in onigiri rice balls. Except for umeboshi or plan, I like all other feelings in onigiri rice balls. Except your terrible handwriting. Your essay is well written. Except your terrible handwriting, your essay is written well written. Except for your terrible handwriting, your essay is well written. Except the long hour moving, I like traveling. Except long hour moving, I like traveling. Except for long hour flight, I like traveling. Except for long hour moving transportation, I like traveling. I love traveling. Except for the fatally dangerous hot weather, I prefer summer to winter. Except dangerous, fatally dangerous humidity and hot weather. I prefer summer to winter. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you.